Well, welcome back to the third installment of this season of Zemer of the Week. I'm John Hornstein here with David Rosenwine, and we have a special guest on this week, Eli Wicken. How you doing, Eli?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going
Welcome
to
to
get
the
to
show.
grilling Eli in just a minute. But first, we don't generally do this. Generally, we make this a pretty silly podcast for a little bit of fun on your commute or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. But this week, we wanted to take a little bit of a serious tone to open up the podcast. So, Dave, you want to tell them what I'm talking about?
Yeah, with all the events going on the last week or so in the Middle East, specifically Israel, we just wanted to take a little bit of time to revisit the mission of why we're here. So just thinking back to a few episodes ago about why Zao and bringing people together through song, specifically through Zemerot at a Shabbat meal. We want to dedicate this week's new Zemer, the new song, to people that have been killed in Israel over the last week and over the last few weeks as violence has kind of escalated. And we hope that through song and through coming together, we can achieve peace both here and afar.
Yep, that's super nice. And so, hopefully everyone can sort of, when you're at your Shabbos table, singing this week's beautiful Zemer that Elad's about to teach us, just sort of, have extra kavana and keep the people in Israel in your thoughts. And with that, Eli, welcome. We've been trying to do this for a little while. Glad we could finally get you on the show.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
If you will, I'm glad the bus pulled into the station.
So Eli, just to warn you, David's been loving the sound effects lately. Eli, we first met you in Chicago when you were still on your bus tour.
That's right. I was driving the topsy-turvy bus across the country, and you guys were nice enough to take me in for Shabbat, and I got to sit at your Shabbat table for an evening.
What were you doing driving a bus across the country?
Yeah, so that was a program through Teva, which is a Jewish environmental organization that teaches mainly sixth graders. It's operated out of Isabel Friedman Retreat Center in Connecticut. And but this is a summer program where we drove a bus with another bus upside down on top of it that ran on vegetable oil, and we were traveling across the country, stopping at Jewish summer camps, teaching about environmentalism and Judaism. Specifically, this year's theme was Shemitah.
So not only were you driving one bus, but in fact you were driving two buses.
Yeah, that ran on vegetable oil.
Wow. No.
Did you ever tip over in the topsy-turvy bus?
Did I ever what, sorry?
Did you ever tip over in the topsy-turvy bus? Or however?
The only thing we tipped was children's minds. That's what we like to say.
Yeah, there we go. That deserves a.
Yeah, give it to me. I like
I was
it.
waiting for that.
I got just for your reference, I got a C+ in calculus, but I was able to do that bus addition pretty quickly there.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
We're all consistently impressed, even though David is no longer studying for the GREs. He's still sharp as a tack with his arithmetic. For those following at home. So Eli, I got to hear your beautiful voice for the first time in a long time at the Tremont Street Shul a bunch of Fridays ago, and this guy just absolutely electrified Kabbalat Shabbat and Marav. So I was pretty impressed, and from that moment, we've been really wanting to get you onto the Zao. So really pumped about this. So let's just get into it. What is your favorite Zao, or the one that you're feeling right now that you're going to teach us?
So this week and for the past many weeks, there's been this nigun actually. So it's not actually Zemer. It's going to be a nigun, so a wordless melody. And my teacher when I was learning in Israel at Pardes, my Chassidut teacher always said a nigun is not necessarily a wordless melody, but it's specifically a melody that's supposed to take you on a journey. and it's supposed to take you on a journey through the ups and the downs and the stills and the valleys, and the just like when you're just singing and you're like, what am I singing? And then your mind kind of wanders, and then you come back to the song and it's even more powerful. And part of the power of a nigun is just that, like, it kind of goes over and over again, and you get lost in that repetitive nature of it. So there's this one melody, this one nigun by Rav Raz Hartman, who he's a classically trained pianist who also in a rabbi who runs a show called, I think it's called Raz's Minion in Nachlaot. So
Clever
it's actually
name.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of his nigunim, and it's called Nigun Kafir.
What does kafir mean?
I actually don't know. You got me on that one.
Let's add it to the list.
Yeah.
So next week we owe a definition of kafir and the difference between lunchtime zmirot and dinner time zmirot. For those of you.
John, I'm sorry, but we cannot continue to make on-air promises without talking about them first.
That is a good point. Sorry about that, David. Anyways, so Eli, what about this? What about this particular nigun kafir really speaks to you?
I think it's just one that I easily lose myself in. Every time, it's simple, it's quick to pick up, and it's easy to just close your eyes and sing, and then the harmonies that other people sing with you are just really nice. It's a really good tune to sing by yourself if you're just like kind of in a mood, and it's also really good to sing around the table with everybody else. And like I said, it's easy for everybody else to quickly pick up onto it and just have a really nice space that's created.
Not gonna lie, you're getting me really amped.
Good, I'm glad.
I haven't even heard the song yet, David, so I may want to slow your horses.
I'll try to simmer down.
All right, so should we get into it? Let's hear how it goes.
Great. It goes like this. Yamamai lai yabamai Yabamai lai yabamai Yabamai lai Yabamai lai yabamai Yabamai lai yabamai Yabamai lai Yabamai 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 and then back to the beginning.
That was really beautiful, actually. That was really nice.
Thank you.
So one question that I have is, when you're singing a nigun, do sort of like the words or like the pronunciation that you're using with the tune matter to that specific nigun, or can you go sort of in any direction between like the nananais of the yabambais?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a machloket between like purists of music and other people. I definitely sang that one with a different inclination that Rav Harsman originally sings it. He sings it with not yabambais but daidadais. So if you listen to it on his CD Shuva, you can hear him do it a little differently. But
let's be careful about how much music we market. We like to market the Zao on this podcast.
Well, okay, fair enough. Excuse me. But so I don't know. For me, when everybody says their own, I I find that that's putting you into the song. You know, sometimes when we're trying to like express something, words aren't there, so we can go to a song, we can go to a melody that allows us to express something in a way. And sometimes just saying yananai, yababai, like it lets it be a little different. And then if I'm saying one and you're saying the other, that also makes the space a little more full. It makes the whole nigun a little more full because we're not saying exactly on point, but it fills out the whole melody.
Sure.
So,
I mean, yeah, from coming from a perspective of someone who loves hip hop, you know, and understanding sort of that the spoken word and rapping can add its own rhythm to a song, I can definitely appreciate that. Where like if you have like multiple people coming in with different intonations of the same nigun, how that could really add something.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow. And then another question for you. Is there any, so is that sort of like the loop that you sang for us, and then with niguns you can kind of sing it as many times through as sort of the crowd is feeling or you're feeling?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, Joey Weisenberg always says you should sing a nigun 20 times through, and I kind of fully believe that one. You sometimes you can't just sing a nigun 3 times and be like, okay, that was good. Like with a nigun like that, you got to sing it over and over again until you fully come to like really get into the space. So, yeah, I like to just sing that one over and over again.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have time for 20 times on this podcast, but I challenge everyone out there who is listening to the Zao, anyone who can get a full 20 times at the Shabbos table this week, brownie points.
Amen.
And a massage from David Rosenwein.
Love the challenge, don't love the reward. Just encourage you to do it for the sake of doing it and bringing people together. And I mean, that was the first time I'd heard that nigun, and I really enjoyed it. I'm going to have to listen to our podcast again in order to pick it up, but that was really good.
Yeah, that was great. And, you know, as always, we'll have Eli put together sort of that nigun, just, you know, maybe a couple rounds of it on a separate recording, and we'll put that up on our website so that you guys can go check that out.
We may want to limit that to 3 and not 20, but we can talk about that.
There you go.
We'll have a conversation.
Well, Eli, thank you so much for joining us. Really great to have you on the podcast. We are going to close with a new segment this week, and that is.
Oh wait! Don't tell everyone yet. Hold on. The new segment is.
Again, proving that David literally only wants to do this podcast so that he can try out different sound effects. The new segment is trivia, as I already ruined before the sound effect. Right, yeah. And this is a trivia question that Mr. Rosenwein himself did, in fact, get right when posed to us by our technology director, Jeffrey Frog Ong. The question is... which parsha of the Torah do we read most frequently during the year? So that's the question, and we'll follow up with the answers on the next week's podcast, as well as a new trivia question.
If you think you know the answer and want to get a shout out on Zemer of the Week, please email zemeroftheweek@gmail.com to submit your response.
You will be the first person to email Zemer of the Week in probably 2 months. Which will
not sure we wanted to market that one either, John.
Well, you got to start somewhere. Well, again, you know, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks, Eli, so much for joining us and sharing that lovely nigun. And we'll be with you again next week.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye-bye.